Should the new Labour government change the current Innovator Founder Visa policy? Hello everyone, this is Sohrab, the UK's #1 business consultant for international founders. In this video, I'm going to talk about some of the areas in which I believe, based on my opinion, where the Innovator Founder Visa policy can be changed and improved. I will also highlight some of the barriers that may exist in implementing these changes. So, for a start, let me just give you a disclaimer, first and foremost, that I'm not an immigration advisor or a solicitor, so this does not constitute immigration or professional or legal advice in any shape or form. Okay, let's look into it. What is the Innovator Founder Visa? It's essentially an immigration pathway for prospective entrepreneurs who want to set up an innovative business in the UK. The visa is relatively new. It's, I would say it's less than 2 years old. So over this time, I have observed through several channels and, from the people that I've worked with, even though I don't actually get involved with the application itself. But I've made a few observations. I actually made a video about 10 months ago on a similar topic, which was the flaws that exist in the policy behind the Innovator Founder Visa. So I think the first point to begin with would be innovation. This is a common problem in terms of being misunderstood. And the problem with that is, innovation is one of the key requirements for this visa. The problem with it is that there is no set definition or criteria or requirement to define innovation. So for example, you could say that an innovative business would be one where a patent can be obtained. So the intellectual property is the criteria and the factor that defines innovation. But that's not really the requirement. And the issue is, if the policymakers were to make that sort of the sole determining factor, it would exclude a lot of other businesses that may be innovative. So ultimately what it leads to is a subjective analysis and evaluation by the endorsing bodies of what constitutes innovation or an innovative business. So really that is an issue where, there is really no straightforward and clear fix. But then again, as I mentioned, this is a tricky one, and there is definitely a sort of a structural flaw with defining one key factor as what constitutes innovation. So there's that one. Number two, the problem, and I believe a lot of applicants can resonate with this. I actually covered this in my previous video as well. And that is the fees and the cost of applying for this visa. You have, a few layers of fees that you need to pay. You need to pay the endorsing bodies an assessment fee, which is £1,000 plus VAT, so £1,200. You have the application fee, and then you also have the NHS surcharge that you need to pay for. Now with the endorsing bodies, I also covered this in another video, that they need to charge you because this is them sort of operating as a business as well. So, those fees are essential for them to sustain their operations and continue. So perhaps one thing the government could do is to reduce the application fees. I actually mentioned this in a post as well. When you compare the visa fees in other countries, such as the Netherlands, they're far lower than the UK. In the Netherlands, it costs around €400 to apply for, a similar visa. So this is one area where improvements can be made. So I think the best way would be to reduce that application fee that the government charges, especially given the fact that, the number of people applying for this visa path is far, far lower than other visa paths, such as the skilled worker route every year. So that's definitely an area of improvement that the Labour government should consider implementing. The number 3 problem, I've also identified this in my previous video, and that is the number of endorsing bodies that are out there. This is not to criticize the current endorsing bodies, or to say that there's a problem with them. But personally, I hold the belief that more endorsing bodies means more sector-specific expertise. And again, you can compare this to other countries such as France and the French Tech Visa, or Canada and the Canadian Startup Visa. Actually, with Canada, what I really like about it is that there's several options. So you can either raise funding, which differs whether you raise from a venture capital firm or angel investors, or you actually get accepted into some sort of incubation program. Although those programs are, there is a charge for them, but I believe, giving people more options and, more sort of sector specific expertise can be very valuable.